Yo, what's going on, guys? Today I'm talking about a topic that I've thought about for quite some time but never actually committed to making a video on until recently. And basically I'm going to be diving into one of the most prolific abilities in all of Naruto, that being Kakashis Raikiri, also known as the Lightning Blade. Firstly, there's a very common misconception that the Chidori or Thousand Birds Jutsu and the Raikiri are the exact same technique, and many people believe that other users of Chidori like Sasuke are just as skillful or if not better than Kakashi at utilizing it. What they don't realize is that Kakashi over the years of study developed a much more specialized version of the Chidori that actually grants significant improvement in both precision and killing power. We can even see this comparison similar to that of the Rasengan and Rasen Shuriken, even if the details aren't exactly the same. So what exactly am I referring to? Well, it's actually stated in the first data book that the Chidori is only an A rank jutsu, and the Raikiri is the highest rank possible, S. Yet bizarrely, the Chidori blade that Sasuke created is only B rank. So as you can already tell, there is a clear separation between these jutsu in the databooks based upon their ranks alone. It is explained in the first data book that the ranks are actually given to the jutsu based upon how difficult they are to learn. So what in particular would make Kakashi's Raikiri more difficult to learn than Sasuke's Chidori? And what makes the Chidori more difficult to learn than the Chidori blade? Well, it's actually explained in the first data book on page 225 that Kakashi's Raikiri has actually been honed to its absolute limit. This already gives us some insight into what Kakashi actually did to alter his Chidori, but the explanation is given to us in the manga when Kakashi describes in great detail what his Raikiri is to Naruto during the Rasen Shuriken training in order to aid his development of the jutsu. Kakashi explains that with his Chidori, he is not only creating a change in nature with his lightning release, but he's also molding a change in form with the chakra that's used. With this change in form, he is set up to discharge at various ranges, and he is even able to adjust its power level. We actually see Kakashi do this at various points throughout the series, such as the fight with the Jinchuriki during the War Arc, where Kakashi is actually seen tag teaming with Guy and extending the range of his Chidori blade to cut multiple of the version 2 Jinchuriki's tails off. I think it is this change in chakra shape that makes these jutsu different, as their nature release is identical. The Chidori blade is easy to shape because it has a metallic blade to flow through. The normal Chidori does not have this, so all of the shape manipulation is forced to happen without a medium, making it much more difficult to form. What makes the Raikiri so interesting is the extreme mastery of its shape change and the hyper precision and sharpness of its cutting edge. This is only possible because of Kakashi's immense expertise in chakra control. We see often that Kakashi does not have an extraordinary chakra pool, at least in comparison to some of the other major characters such as the Raikage, Naruto, and Sasuke. This is how Kakashi is able to keep up with them, by using his chakra more efficiently than anyone else. We can see Kakashi give this explanation early into part 1, where he compares both Sakura and Naruto's chakra usage. Sakura is able to produce the same results as Naruto despite having significantly less chakra, but more proficient chakra control. The Raikiri arguably has the highest success rate of any jutsu in the entire series, and I'm not even joking. Think back to any situation where the Raikiri has been used and you'll find that it has always been effective, provided that it actually made contact. Kakashi has managed to pierce straight through Obito during the War Arc, despite Obito having incredible durability. Clearly Kakashi does not have the same amount of chakra as a Biju, yet he is able to match their output. Granted, this was thanks to a weakness, but Kakashi was also able to penetrate Kakuzu's diamond armor. The Ashura path was completely torn apart by it, and presumably Tendo would have been as well, seeing as the Ashura path jumped in front of it, presumably to save him from being hit. Even the immensely awful and titanic existential threat Rin was barely defeated by this technique. Haku was also beaten this way in order to save Zabuza, who would have presumably fallen as well. The only time it arguably ever failed was when 2 Raikiri were needed to cancel out the single lightning style false darkness technique of Kakuzu. This is because Kakuzu is the big strong boy that I already made a video about, and you should totally go check out. In that video I talk about a lot of other obscure feats in scaling that many people don't normally consider, which is why they don't think he's strong for some reason or whatever. I think that's all of the major characters dealt with. There really isn't any other feat in this series that is better than the Ren one mentioned earlier. Oh, wait, Yeah, it also worked on Kaguya. Now, granted, this was DMS Kakashi, by far the strongest variation we've seen in Part 2, but the same principle is still applicable. The jutsu Kakashi created as a child and later honed to perfection was so masterful that it was even able to not only affect, but result in the literal defeat of the greatest threat to the shinobi world up to that point. At this time, Naruto and Sasuke were under huge amps thanks to the Sage 6 pads amongst other things, in comparison to Kakashi, who only had the remnants of Obito's chakra. However, this lesser increase of chakra was still enough to make the difference because of Kakashi's mastery control of chakra being far better than theirs. Another example of this during the fight was when Kakashi was immediately able to perform the perfect Susanoo despite literally never using a Susanoo ever in his life. It's actually Naruto that implies Kakashi did this with his copying ability. Not only this, but he was also able to combine this perfect Susanoo with two other complex techniques, that being Kamui and the Raikiri, which he literally went on to body Kaguya with. Another insane statement comes from Sasuke during the confrontation with Kaguya, where he implies that in the situation where he is no longer capable of dealing with the infinite Tsukiyomi, he suggests to them that they should simply give his Rinnegan to Kakashi so he can be the one to undo the effects of it. Despite the difficulty of this endeavor, Sasuke still believes that Kakashi has the skill to do this, and honestly, it's not far-fetched considering the other feats that DMS Kakashi has already performed. Going back to the beginning of Naruto, Kakashi was known as the Copy Ninja, the man who copied and mastered 1,000 jutsu. During his confrontation with Zabuza, a known and prolific water-style user, Kakashi was capable of reading and mimicking Zabuza's hand signs to recreate a more powerful water-style technique, which not only overpowered but also defeated Zabuza. This is just another example at the earliest portion of the series where Kakashi is simply shown to just have insane chakra control and ability. For those of you watching this, maybe you can think of more examples of Kakashi using the Raikiri, or other examples of him just having insane or really good chakra control that I've missed. Make sure to drop a comment down below. Alright guys, that's going to bring an end to the video. If you did enjoy, give a big thanks to my buddy Webcam Parrot for literally holding a gun to my head and forcing me to type this script. Check out his channel if you enjoy literally any comic book, 40k, or Elder Scrolls related content at all. He makes really good videos. And I know this video was not the video you were expecting, but that's because I have tons of videos planned for the future, and honestly, I just don't know which order I want to release them in. But the major and most prevalent video that will be coming out soon is the next great shinobi war, Tobirama versus Minato. I also plan to make individual videos on both Hashirama and Tobirama because for some reason people have been putting a lot of disrespect on my boys, and that needs to be addressed. Don't forget to make sure to like, subscribe, drop a comment, and also go watch my Sasori and Kakashi video. They're both really good and they're similar to this video, except they go more in depth on character analysis. I think you guys will like it. I'll catch you guys in the next one.